Yeah, what's going on in your neck of the woods, Cheyenne?
What is going on? I mean, I'm down in San Diego for
Hmm.
now. Um, just like having a good time, being around some good people. I just helping out some people with some stuff, and it's starting to get cool down here. So it's like I'm slowing down a lot more on like being outside all day long.
Hmm.
It's a little
Larissa
cold.
laid back.
Yeah.
Larissa
So I
laying
just,
back with it.
I'm actually planning on being in Arizona in like November.
What?
hmm My dad's moving there right now.
Oh, for real?
hmm
Okay, cool, cool. Are you
Yeah.
excited?
Oh yeah, definitely. He's doing the whole like Airstream life, so kind of similar to like my living.
Hmm.
So I'm very
When was
excited.
when was the last time you were out here, Cheyenne?
I've never been to Arizona actually.
Okay, okay. So that should be a treat for you. You should enjoy the energy.
Right. No, how are you enjoying it? Seems
Oh man, I don't know if you can hear over here. The birds are chirping. You know, it's like
I
they
can't.
we greet the day. The
Mm.
sun is shining. Well, it's peeking through the clouds. Today it's thinking like it wants to rain, but oh, and there's the statue you like over there. You can see it from the back. But I know you said last time, I think you said you liked that statue, the Merlin one.
The Merlin one.
There's like a Merlin magical statue of like Merlin. Hold on. I think last time I showed you one of these
Oh
statues.
yeah, that's so cool.
That's the one. That's the same one. Yeah, this is like the only Whole Foods in the area, and so people just meet up over here, and they inside meditating.
Oh nice.
Yeah, they over there meditating. So I'm just out here. I wanted to, holler at the congregation while the Soul Fam gets the meditation.
Mm. Share the energy.
Yeah,
I
sharing the
always,
bread.
I'm always so grateful for what you share on here.
Oh man, I'm grateful people like yourself, receive it,
Always.
and are reciprocal in kind. The energy is always reciprocal. You know,
Right. I'm trying to find something from my phone. Excuse me.
you
Oh,
good?
oh,
What's
that's
what's
too
been
bad.
your highlight this month of October? Oh, she's gone. Okay, she's out of there. She'll come back. She'll come back in a second. Much love to everybody. Hey, Nikita. Nikita, you already know. Hey, what's going on? Shout out, shout out. So much love to you. Alexis, Tay Paris, Lena, Afa. Wonderful. Let's see if Cheyenne comes back. Hey, Claire. 888, feeling great. 888,
That
never
was too
late.
good. That was too good.
What was too good?
I kept trying to find a good spot for my phone so it wasn't in my hand and it just and then I
Hmm.
was gone. So here I am.
Yeah, I was asking you before you departed. I was asking you what has been one of your highlights for the month of October.
Ooh, for the month of October,
Hmm.
I spent a lot of time, honestly, just in Encinitas, like laying on the beach, like without a need to do anything.
Mm.
Like just going in the ocean, like getting my nervous system like really slowed down and like
Hmm.
honestly, like I just like cut out a lot of things I was like afraid to cut out of my life.
Mm.
And like I've just been slow. I just been living really slow, you know. I feel like our time together really showed me where my lack of presence in moments was, and like where I could have been better for myself, because every time we hung out, it was just like I was just so more present. We were, like I don't know, like we were just like matching and needing my presence, and like I don't know. It's like I've been around a lot of beautiful people that have really understand what kind of beauty I want to experience myself.
Mm.
And so I spent like, yeah, the entire month of October just away from LA, like down. sake of like getting my nervous system right and like just figuring out like how to move in a way. You know?
Wow, wow. So Cheyenne, you said it showed you the lack of presence?
Yeah, like where I could be more present. Like we had some pretty amazing like deep conversations, and like I know around the same time you were here, like right before I had like had some pretty deep experiences with some elders too that reflected similar things, which was I don't know, just like not picking up certain phone calls, not like an actual phone call, but like energetic phone calls. Like there's just some things you don't have to like pick up, you know, and you can just like go pick up the things that you want to pick up, you know, if that's a good way to say that, you know.
Okay, so being more selective in the ways you are receptive.
Hmm. And if I'm not sure of something new to do, just go on a walk.
Yeah, yeah. Why
It's
not?
always just moving my body, like just so great, you know, like especially when you simplify, it's like I don't have to go exercise, you just walk is exercise,
Right,
you know?
right.
Yeah,
You know?
you really made me realize how much I was overcomplicating a lot of like my process of like being Cheyenne and being happy.
Oh man, we always do that. Everyone, the mind loves to make things complicated. You know,
Facts.
what did Lauren Hill say? Lauren Hill said, "It could all be so simple, but you'd rather make it hard." She was speaking to my heart.
Yo.
She was speaking to my heart when she said that, Cheyenne.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Right. And it's funny, I feel like I don't know, like I always feel like I'm, you know, doing my best at being like authentic or genuine. And I feel like it wasn't until I was around you that it was clear that there were still places that I was like living for others or like people pleasing, but it wasn't like so obvious, you know what I mean? It's like so like I don't know, I just feel like all these ideas of how to live, it's like, well, what about like your intelligence, you know, like
right,
what is calling you, you know, and like
right.
and so I feel so much more assured in that on my own, which has been, you know, every day is a new day. Like I don't know, I feel like I don't care like the distance away now. Like I'm just like so trusting the process.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So, if before you were more so living for others, what do you feel like you're living for today?
Peace. What about you?
Well, when you said living for peace, you know, it did reminded me of what you talked about walking, because every single day, Cheyenne, like this is day 5 of the retreat out here,
Mm.
and every single day I've been walking. I make that a mandatory thing. It's a non-negotiable for me. Even when it's been pitch black, like pitch
Mm.
darkness, there's animals, coyotes, things in the bushes that I don't, really know about rustling. Like the other day, something was rustling, and my peace got a little bit disturbed. It was a DTP moment. DTP. It was disturbing the peace out here,
Yeah.
and so I like my adrenaline kicked in because I'm on the road. I'm just in my meditative mode on the road, and all of a sudden I hear this rustle in the bushes over yonder, and I'm like, whoa! I'm on red alert, full go, and I look to the side and I like kind of tiptoe into the middle of the street. Luckily, it was at like 5:30 in the morning, so it wasn't much oncoming traffic. So people would have thought I was crazy just walking in the middle of the freeway out here. But it just reminded me in that moment of the saying. Someone asked, or someone said rather, maybe the deer wasn't crossing the road. You know, what if the road was crossing the forest?
Mm-hmm.
And it reminded me that these man-made things, these man-made structures, they are man-made. You know, and it's like to come back to nature, to come back to that bird chirping, to come back to that deer, galloping
Mm-hmm.
in the forest, to come back to that silence, that inner stillness, that peace that we can find in nature. So thank you for
Mm-hmm.
asking that question.
Yeah.
What are
No,
we living for? Yeah.
just that. And that's what's so beautiful is like coming back in to like the presence of like everything's kind of already happening and like, you know, like there's not really much for us to do, you know, unless you want to. And it's like, I don't know. Yeah, there's just like no thought in the things that you're supposed to be doing. So like it's like just so beautiful to always just slow down, you know, when you lose the sense of the senses,
Hmm.
you know, not being like cuz like I don't know, just like walking outside is so much it's like its own meal in itself as you kind of always express, you know,
Hmm.
the pranic lifestyle. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
not even somewhere like as beautiful as you and it's still like, you know, just so engaging, you know.
Yeah. You just reminded me. It's like, have you ever heard? Vincent Van Gogh.
Yes, of course.
You know, and there was something that was said. It was like, I gave my heart and soul, to my work,
Mm.
to my art, and I have lost my mind in the process. You know, and sometimes we have to lose our mind to come to our senses.
Mm-hmm. No, honestly, yes, definitely. Like, one of my favorite sayings is, "From chaos comes clarity."
Ooh, yes.
You know, it's from a 311 song. Hmm.
Awesome.
And
Awesome.
it's like, I feel like we have a tendency sometimes to like, or at least for me, I like to try to like grip something when there's a lot of chaos, but like, I don't know, just let it all burn for a second. Like, just like be okay with the fire just as much as the air, the flow.
Well, you sound like the Joker. Just let it all burn.
Yeah. Well, because like I feel like I mean, the closer I get to more humans and the deeper those relations go, it's like we all have that fire somewhere. I
Hmm.
mean, we're entering Scorpio season right now. I'm talking to a Scorpio right now, like, you know, King of the Shadows over here, low key. Low key, you know what I mean? And it's like, I feel the friends that I learn the most from are the friends who, like, I could tell just can, like, sit in their own chaos and everyone else's and just, like, unaffected, you know? And it's like, I don't know, that just says something about the human spirit, you know?
Wow. 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 I respect it. It's always reflected. Yeah. Yeah. And where do you find clarity in the chaos? You know, that's a very good question. Where would you say you find it?
The breath. I mean,
Your
Devon's on
breath.
here, like,
Shout out to Devon. Yeah. Shout
right?
out.
Like, I mean, yeah, it's always breath. You know, that's why it's been so nice, like, just slowing down so I can, like, take those deeper breaths.
We definitely did that together, Cheyenne. I remember, our jam sessions, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and it was
Mm.
like we were slowing down while the rest of the world was sped up, you know, people
Mm-hmm.
going to and fro at a fast pace. Everybody's got somewhere to be, something to do, someone to
Mm-hmm.
become, you know.
Yeah, something like pulling them around, but then we'd have this little orb where people would just, for a minute, you know?
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. And you remember there were a few times, not only the kids would come up to us and they would really enjoy the music, like you on the handpan, and me on the flute,
Mm-hmm.
but there would also be, elderly, different people of all ages, and
Yeah.
sometimes people were having a tough day, a rough day, and they would just be like, "Man, thank you, thank you
Right.
for sharing your peace," you know.
I'll never forget that one man that was in the corner who seemed houseless, like he like stayed there or something, and he had came back. It was like we'd been there a couple of times, and the third time or something, he walked by. And he had a guitar in his hand. You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And he
Mm-hmm.
just went and sat down, and like he started talking to us like after like a little bit of time, and like was telling us about his like lineage and like how I don't know, like he just like brightened up as a person. We saw him like kind of in the corner, like on his little notebook or doing his little thing, and then like I don't know, he like opened up and all of a sudden him and his friend are like walking around. He's not sitting in that little corner anymore. Like,
Right.
so, and it seems so subtle, but like to me that meant a lot because he like was making eye contact and like engaged with them, just because we were out there being little weirdos.
Yeah, yeah, you know, doing something strange for a little bit of change.
Yeah,
And
like just
you know, yeah,
shaking up the energy there, like putting new vibrations, like
yeah,
literally out, you know.
yeah.
It's cool.
Sometimes when you do things, go ahead.
Right now, you go. Sometimes when
Well, it's cool
it's
that
all
what?
you. Is it me or you?
Oh, well, I was just gonna say sometimes when it seems like you do things strange, you know, you you create the most change, you know.
Yo, that's an affirmation right there for me. That's true. It's very true. Cause like sometimes I feel like odd for being like kind or like whatever my like frequency is. You know, like I don't know if I would label it kind. I guess I would, but like I'm genuinely interested in a lot of people, and I can on the East Coast people like call that Joe. Like, oh, you're being so Joe. Like when someone goes to too many shows. Like I used to not support as many people with my camera because people thought I was like trying to like show something, and I'm like, well, I mean, I am, you know, but like people are like, oh, Cheyenne, just don't be so Joe, and people will like, you know, hire you more or whatever, and like I still hear that to this day. But like with my shift of frequency, I'm like, nah, that's just like not it. Like I'm gonna go and like I don't know, like I worked a wedding yesterday, and I was just like catering, and it was so fun, and I like made sure to meet every person there. I got so much wisdom from everybody, and I was just like kind, and I could like there's some people who just don't do that, and that's cool. But I actually like that's genuinely like what I want to do. I'm not Joe. Like it's not a performance. Like I actually am like, who are you? Like who are
Right.
you? Like you know what I mean? Like and like that can feel strange sometimes. And like the more that I step out of that, I've just had more fun. Like moving away from like that idea of like being too much. You know, like don't play too small. What are you talking about?
Right. Like
You know,
what made them call you Joe? Like they called you Joe because you went to the show?
it's like a Philly thing. Like it's like
Oh,
not
it's a
cool.
Philly.
Yeah, it's like not cool to like fully support or you only support your people. I was a transplant in Philly, so I'm not gonna act like I fully know, but like yeah, there was just like an idea that is there about being Joe. It's like an interesting like slang, you know.
Hmm.
And like I used to understand that because it's like, oh yeah, you can't like fuck with everyone, but then I was like, wait, why not? Like, is that it's just because it's like unbelievable or something, and it's strange, you know? And I just think about like there's these like cool characters out in Philly that were like characters of the streets, you know, and like everyone knew them. And like there was this one named Stanley, and he was this old man who dressed like in dresses and skirts, and he would just go out there and be dancing with his hands, and like he just like owned it in a really cool way where everyone knew Stanley, and like he was. I have photos of him on my page too, and like he wasn't weird in that way. He just like owned it, you know. And so I kind of saw it in that way. It's like, well, Stanley could be Joe in the streets, you know, but he owned it, you know. So it's like, I feel like I learned from Philly. There's just like this sacred balance of like not being that, you know, but that keeps you up here way too much, you know.
Okay. Okay. So while everyone else was concerned about like being all manly, you know,
Or
here
being
comes
tough, like
yeah,
the city of brotherly love, you know.
yeah. But then here comes Stanley, you know,
Yeah,
and
here comes
now
Stanley.
yeah, and his soul family.
And
So you
everyone loves Stanley. No one messes with Stanley.
everyone loves Stanley. Okay, okay, you know. So Stanley is like he's
It's
family.
like this beacon of light. Yeah.
Yeah. Got you, got you. So it taught
Mm-hmm.
you, you know, it taught
Mm-hmm.
you to let go.
Yeah, like if your natural frequency is to be a lot, that's chilling. It's not gonna be a lot to the right people. I don't really believe in that, you know, too much or a lot, you know. You're just right for the right people.
Right, right. No, I agree. I agree. You know. And that's why I enjoy, you know, our conversations because I know that you've had similar conversations with folks who you feel like don't receive that energy as much or feel like it's too, you know, too high or too vibrant.
Yeah.
I don't know, whatever it is, but
Whatever, too.
about yeah, just two. But but yeah, how can you be two? You know? How can
I'm
you be
just
two
one.
when you're just being you?
Ooh. How can I be two? I'm just being me though.
Yeah, yeah.
He's one.
You,
Me, you,
you just
reflections.
being free. Yeah. You know, did you hear what Nabiha said? I mean, Camila, rather.
Mm-mm.
Camila's in the comment section. Shout out to Camila in the comments. She said, Cheyenne, I find you very wise. Keep on shining. Be at peace. We are not here
Aw.
to do anything. Shout out. Shout out to Camila.
I appreciate that. I'm not wise. I'm just present in my life. That's what I say.
Hey.
I don't like to claim wise because then I'll close off to other wisdom. And I'm like, I think real wisdom is like knowing that everyone has wisdom and that like we don't really know anything.
Say that again?
I feel like real wisdom is like the fact that everyone has wisdom and then like I don't know, like knowing that we don't really know anything, which a lot of people can get bothered by that, but it's like it's kind of just like letting go of the knowledge you have and like still playing in it. It's not saying like, oh, I'm dumb. Like it's just like, you know, knowledge is
That
like
so
everlong.
that's real wisdom. Isn't that something like Socrates? You know, this one thing that I know, and that is I know nothing.
Hmm.
I think even Erica Badu said the same thing. You know,
Yeah.
she was grooving with it. It was like there was a song called "On and On" or something like that. She was like,
Yeah.
"The
Go
man
on.
who knows something knows that he knows
Knows
nothing
nothing.
at all. Will
Yep.
it be in your summertime?"
Brighter when you fall. Yeah.
There it is. Yeah, come on. You know, let us hear these vocals. Come on, Cheyenne. We know you got these vocals here.
I know. I know. I was
Yo.
like, no, it's so beautiful because like I don't know. I just feel like that's the only message coming through for me lately. It's just been slowing down and like there's no race. There's like I don't know what anyone's talking about.
Mm,
Also, like I love being alive, so like I'm not in a race.
mhm.
Like wow.
Just to be alive, you
Hmm.
know, just to be here. Yeah, yeah. You know, Brooke said something just now, Cheyenne. I'd love to hear your opinion. She goes by Celis Sounds. Shout out to
Hmm.
Celis Minerva. And she says, unlearning and unbecoming invites growth and inner child heals. How does that resonate with you?
That definitely resonates. You know, I feel like just being who you are is such a art, and it's definitely something you have to like take your time with because like it takes a long time to see like the different layers of things that have shaped and affected you and to like slowly like I don't know because I feel like anything that's like too forced is like can turn into something like not natural
Mm,
and it takes time to know who you are in this age of information slash distraction
mhm,
and especially like a lot of us who are born with like the internet like you know right in front of our faces it's like you know we need to sit a lot more with ourselves you know to unlearn and unbecome and it's totally true it just takes a long time so don't be in a rush about that you know
right, right. Being patient with yourself.
and it
You
looks
know?
different for everybody
Right.
you know there's not one path.
Yeah. Yeah. So many. You know, it's unlimited. You know, infinite. What could you say, Cheyenne, has been a time where that happened to you, where you ended up forcing something and it became unnatural?
Oh man, I don't know. It's hard to say because it's like sometimes I feel like I wasn't aware that I was forcing something because I have such a bold expression naturally, and like if I'm not present with the other human, you know what I mean. Like it can be easy for me to like not read the room,
Mm,
you know,
okay.
and just like some things just don't resonate. And that's like totally cool. Like I don't need to be anyone's baseline. I'm my own baseline. You know what I mean? And same for anyone. Everyone should be their own baseline of like, you know, like where they get their peace and love and like yeah, I feel like I've just found like it's hard because like there's like this natural resistance that can come up in certain situations if something doesn't resonate, and it's like sometimes like forcing something can be really clear in my opinion, but other times I don't know. There's this Shel Silverstein poem where it's like these two like little beings like holding up masks, and it was behind the masks they were both blue, but the masks were like green or red or something like that, and so
Mm-hmm.
like they didn't know, they were that they were the same color, like frequency, because they were wearing these masks, and like I don't know, sometimes you can be wearing like certain identities with certain ideas that maybe, or like I don't know, it's like so complicated out here, but it's like that idea of like being more strength and being more who you are is like, well, like just stay in your peace and your happiness and whatever feels like the naturalness to you,
Mm-hmm.
and just whatever resonates with that, like go there. Whatever's not like challenging that all the time. It's good to be challenged and to be open. But when you know who you are and you've taken the time to sit with yourself, like you don't need to be challenged by every aspect about yourself, and like the things that are for you and aren't forced, you're not gonna have to over explain.
Right, right, right. No, no, I get you. I'm following you. I'm following you.
You
You
feel
know.
me? So
Yeah.
to over explain, not over explaining.
Yeah.
I know that sometimes I'll talk and I'll come to like around like that and I'll be like, oh cool, that was beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. But that's how the lost is found. You know,
Mm,
what goes around comes around.
always. Oh, isn't that such a beautiful cycle to see?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And thank you for sharing that as well, Cheyenne. And thank you for actually dropping that poem. I never heard of that. So
Yeah, I'll have to share it.
you said Silverstein?
I think it was Silverstein. I think it's from my childhood. It's like deeply ingrained into my head.
Okay, so so we're painting this picture that they had on masks
Hmm.
and it was different color masks. But when they took off the mask, they
They
were
were
the
the same.
same color. Ooh,
And it's about how like if you are like not being who you are, you're gonna miss what's meant for you.
that gave me goosebumps. Yeah. And you can see scenarios where we do that.
Hmm.
We don't realize that we're the same.
That's why it's so important to connect with the breath, because like I work a lot of odd jobs. Like I kind of just use like multiple apps and I can just go and jump into like a lot of settings that have a lot of different skills, and like I just love being in different things. Like I love helping out a lot of different businesses, and it's always interesting like the first couple hours of in a new place, like reading the room where I can like you kind of sometimes I just kind of like sit with like what energy is like the baseline there, and then like just like find like the way to like just be the most helpful in my own energy as possible. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I'll go in and I'm like, okay, everyone's a little cranky, so like we're gonna turn, happiness shine just a little down. You know what I mean? Like, and then I'm just gonna be like really present and calm more in my breath. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas sometimes there's like a lot of room for like, and it's just like really quiet and everyone's shy, and I'm like, oh, I can just come be the goofy one here, and like it'll probably bring out everyone else's.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I'll come in and everyone's angry, and I'm like, all right, like I'm just not going to react to anyone. Like I can't choose what's going to happen right now, but I'm just going to try my best to be like the least reactive person. It's kind of like the Capricorn in me. Like
Mm-hmm.
it could be unhealthy, like, like a little bit, but it's like more fun because I like don't really go into these spaces unless I am like full and at my peace. That's why going to the ocean's been a beautiful practice for me, but it's been so fun going in and kind of seeing how we can get knotted up by just like, I don't know, like habitually living.
Yeah, yeah. And I love that about you because you're very intuitive. I mean, third eye shy. Come on, you know. And
Low key.
you know about energy, and you're a great sensor of energy. You're a great detector of energy, and you're very good in your energy space. In your chi
Mm-hmm.
space, whenever it comes to being in any place. So
Gratitude.
yeah, and so in those situations, or even lituations, when you find yourself,
Situations.
yeah,
It's a lituation most of the time over here.
When you in a lituation, you know, how do you adjust that dial from happiness, Cheyenne? Like, okay, I'm gonna just adjust this dial a little bit, you know, and turn this a little bit to the left.
How do I think usually it's just like breathing. Like most of the time I'm like, this isn't the space for this and it's not going to be like seen or received in the way it needs to. So like, like when I'm in my highest self, like I can work out a way that it alchemizes it where it's not really stressing me, like, because I'm not taking it personal. Like I've been recording a lot of music by myself and with some friends down in San Diego. So like we all kind of are in a similar flow. Like when we have free time, like let's get together and create in this energy. And like I'll get in my head about that. I'll be like, somewhere else, like doing something that's not necessarily like the highest vibe, and I'll be like, all right, like I'm just gonna like keep this inside, and then like I know that I'm gonna like but like put this in over here, and it's like I'll work. I know I really love work. So I resonate with like the goat mentality and like Capricorn. I love how our universe has so many things to do, but I think it's really important to have like, I don't know, like 2 to 3 things that like really root you and who you are, no matter what's going on.
Right.
That's what you're living for and doing, and like,
Right.
music and conversation is like relating is my thing, and I can kind of carry that like a lot of things. Like, it's kind of easy for me just because I have a lot of music, and I can just resonate with almost anybody now.
Yeah. Wow. So you said your 2 things are music and conversation?
Yeah,
Okay.
I would say so. Like the most easeful way for me to relate to people.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you
Yeah.
say from experiencing?
Say again?
Said, wouldn't you say from experiencing?
Yeah, I mean, it's the great unifier, you know? Like on all levels. Wherever you go, no matter where you go around the world, wherever you travel, some things are universal. They transcend language. And I think music is one of those things. Yeah.
Music is a language.
Yeah, of its own. You're right.
It's
You're right.
of the divine.
What did Bob Marley say, Cheyenne? He said, when it
A
hits
lot.
you, when it hits you, you feel no pain.
Mm.
When it hits you, you feel no pain. One thing about music.
I love that.
That's what he said. One thing
I love
about
that
music.
you have like the most powerful bank of quotes like that I've like ever seen and experienced in a human. I'm just like,
Oh man, I appreciate that.
I
It's
appreciate you.
and it's continually building because especially if I keep messing with you, Cheyenne, I'm gonna just continue filling the bank, filling the tank. It's gonna keep getting full because you got them too.
Yo, we up always.
Yeah, yeah. In
No ceiling.
abundance. What did she say? Oh, Britt, she said, "Hit me with music."
Hit me
See,
with
yeah, Britt,
music. Yes.
she all about the. Oh, we got some sound healers in the house. We got Brooke in here. We got Jensen in here. Hey, Jen.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
beautiful.
yeah, they're both sound healers in California.
Oh,
Yeah, they. Yeah,
I always
yeah.
forget to
We.
look at the chat because sometimes in past lives, I had the tendency to get distracted by them. So like, I'll just blank them out. It's so cool to see them though. Like, thank you all for being so present in here.
Of course, it's only a reflection of your deep connection, you know? Because if you weren't as present, like you said in the beginning, you're learning all about being more present, then I feel like that presence wouldn't be as reflected, you know? It's like we attract what we are,
Yeah.
you know? It's like, what does the universe always say? It's like, I'm giving you what you are. I'm giving you what you are.
This is such an affirmation too, because like, yeah, it's just such an affirmation. I think it can feel bad when you go away from things that like art, but then it's like we all shift. Like there's different seasons in life, and like sometimes you change, sometimes people change with you, and it's just so beautiful. Like watching like the seasons of humans amongst the seasons of the planet. Like it's
What
trippy.
What would you say is your favorite season of humanity, Cheyenne?
This one, we're always getting so much better. As much as like, there's a lot of like things to read that say elsewhere, you know, else. But like, I think that I don't know. Right now, for me, just because it's more present every day, and like the more that I like in the season I'm in now, the more I see what I have the possibility to create. And like, there's just so many beautiful people out here who are really like rooting into creating foundations for things that are in right relationships. And it's just been so like refreshing for me. It's like, if you don't like something, just like don't go there. Like, just don't eat it anymore. Like, done. Like, don't pick up the phone.
Right. Wow. So there is a sense of it being refreshing to be more rooted. There's a sense of that, you know. And you always talk about your roots, you know, knowing your roots.
Yeah. I got those nomadic roots though.
True.
But yes,
So, wow.
it's
So
important to be still and
important
know
to what?
yourself. Important to be still and know yourself so you can know like where to be rooted and like what your roots need.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. As one of my friends said.
Like a little seed.
Oh man. Nikita said, I want to know how your brain is built from the inside.
Yeah, right? Me too.
Oh my goodness. Jeez. Yeah, the other day I was, you know, speaking of leveling up intuition, we've been doing a lot of sun gazing these days. And one of my friends, shout out to Jesse Tree. Jesse Tree, he goes by the life cultivationist. And he sun gazes like all the time. He started sun gazing, Cheyenne, like for 10 seconds. And then the next day he did 20 seconds. And the next day he did 30 seconds. And the next day he did 40 seconds. And the next day he did 50 seconds. And he kept going just like that for a whole year. And after a year, he got up to 45 minutes where he can stare at the sun for 45 minutes straight, right?
Eyes open, right? Like
eyes open, you know? And now he can do it for hours.
that's
And
beautiful.
he said that the guy he learned it from was Hiran Matak. There was an Indian man who was really big on sun gazing, and he did it so much that it started to have so many different side effects that were unaccounted for. Like, it removed all hunger. He didn't have to eat. It gave him so much energy. It just really solarized his cells in his body were all satiated. Everything was on full go. And it heightened all of his levels of intuition.
Oh yeah.
Because since the pineal gland is photoreceptive, it was like his inner eye started to become, illuminated through the glow of the sun. And they said that when they did a brain scan and they looked at his pineal gland, where some people's pineal gland are like that, his was the size of a golf ball.
Oh my.
They said his pineal was the size of a golf ball.
It's probably like the correct size it's supposed to be. Wow. I believe it though. Like, I believe that. Like, I know that is true because like even the days that I've been spending, I spent like a week straight just in Encinitas, like literally just laying on the beach. Like, I wasn't even napping. I was just like breathing and like, I don't know, just being a part of the environment. And like, I still feel energized off of it. Like, I wake up so, like it's been cloudy the last couple of days, but I've been unaffected. Like, I still get that sunlight, but it's, just a little bit less potent. And like, no, I definitely believe that. That's inspiring because, yeah, I love that feeling of just like being like a cat out in the sun. Like, I feel like I'm charging.
Charging up. Charging up. Wow. Thank you for coming here and charging us up today with this, with this talk. This is a power talk. This was a power conversation. I really feel the vibration. And just thank you.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure to just share space with you in whatever capacity is, possible. I don't know how long you're gonna be in Arizona, but maybe I'm willing we'll be in the same location sooner than later.
Who knows? Who can
Wherever the
say?
sun is, whatever the sun shines, right?
Come on now. Yes, yes. So much love to you always, and we'll see
Much
you
love
again.
to everyone in all
Yeah,
ways.
yeah. In all ways, I love that. Yeah, always. Thank y'all for
Yo,
joining. We'll see y'all.
peace.